Good morning, one and all. I thank everyone for being here with us today. I am pleased to welcome all the students from across our nation. I am Professor Anupam Samantre, your event host, moderator, and voice. Let me take you through the process of how we will conduct the webinar today. Our guest will address the batch for 90 minutes. First 80 minutes will be knowledge sharing, and last 10 minutes will be questions and answers. Students are encouraged to put relevant questions related to the topic in the chat box. Today's session will be conducted by Ms. Rajnandini Vyas. Right attitude takes you to high places. The way you behave is a reflection of your emotions, and the way you feel is a reflection of your attitude. Ms. Rajnandini Vyas will speak on the attributes of right attitude to help you move forward. She has great expertise in marketing, especially the digital front, and has been instrumental in spearheading many projects across brands for more than 5 years now. She is currently working with Youth Beverage Factory Private Limited as head digital marketing and growth. In her professional stint till now, she has worked with few more esteemed brands like Mahindra First Cry, Seniority, and New Zealand Trade and Enterprise. She has done her postgraduate diploma in management from IIEBM itself. We are very proud to have her as our alumni, and she is still contributing towards the institution. I now request Rajnandini to take over the session and share her learnings to our young minds. Rajnandini, please.
Thank you, Professor Anup, and good morning, everyone. I hope you are doing all well. How is things going on? I'm sure you all are enjoying this lockdown period. And Professor Dr. Anup, thank you for this wonderful introduction. And I'm sure, I can try my best to give back to the institute, help the students out, and see what I can do, to the entire session and see how they are. How they will enjoy the session. I'm know that the induction process is pretty much long, and we are probably from one of those fortunate batches wherein we were in the institute taking up the induction for like 20-25 days and going through the entire drill. I still remember how it was, and that's the only problem. I think students are missing that part of it. I would loved it if people were in the campus and were enjoying all of this induction process. So, but nevertheless, IIBM is doing an amazing job on getting these direct to home series directly to the students in this lockdown, and I'm enjoying it personally. So great. So, let's start with my introduction. I'm Rajnandini Vyas, as just Dr. Anup said. And I work with Youth Beverages. Youth Beverages have two protein supplement brands called Six Pack Nutrition and Accelerate Sports Nutrition. We have a range of whey protein. I take care of digital marketing over there, try and get more revenue for the brand. That's what I do. So let's start. First of all, you guys tell me, when you want to know that we will be talking about attitude or the power of attitude, basically, what expectations you had? What did you think back in your mind, what will be the session all about? I would like to know from your end, first of all. What were you expecting? I can see people typing in the chat. I want to know your expectation. Okay, before we start, I want to set up a rule here. Whenever we try and interact, whenever we talk to each other virtually, I would want you all to keep the chat box active. If we don't keep the chat box active, I will be keeping quiet for next 30 seconds. I won't speak. All you have to do is speak. I won't be speaking. You'll have to speak. And if not, and then if I see people are not talking for 30 seconds, I'm going to keep quiet for 5 seconds, and that's how the session will be extended. Do you want to guys enjoy Saturday or keep, staying back in the session for longer? Tell me the expectations. What did you expect when you saw that we'll be talking about attitude? Okay, interesting. I can't see people being active here. Okay. See, I'll tell you what we'll be doing. This is the first time I'm giving it to you, but if the next time if I don't see the chat box active, I'm gonna keep quiet for 30 seconds. You'll be bored. Okay, what you'll be doing, I won't give you any gyan on marketing. I won't give you any gyan on management. I am not going to give you any gyan on digital marketing for sure at all. I'm not going to do that. I will be telling you 5 stories, maybe 4 to 5 stories. That's it. And that's how we will try and learn how attitude will be helping you out, in the long run. These are the self learnings which, I got to know at this age, and I believe the fresh minds, the young minds, the new management students should know all of these things right from the scratch, so that they can get a successful career, they can achieve the desired success in their life. So I guess let's start, how we will do it. Come on, guys, I need answers. I'm a bad teacher. I need answers. Give me give me answers. What is the attitude? Come on. I know you people are like really, I got to know that you people are really smart, and I am expecting very, very good and smart answers out of you guys. Tell me. Personality. Okay. What else? What else, guys? I just got a word, personality. The way of dealing with situation with people. Okay. Okay, interesting. The way we think. Okay. It can be both positive and negative manner of expression. See, if I put it across in a very, very simple word, a very general layman term, I feel attitude is a glass window through which you see the entire life, your entire world, your entire workplace, your entire relationship, all the events, and most importantly, yourself. It is very important to understand what attitude you have towards yourself, because right now the world and everything is okay, that's secondary, but keeping an attitude, keeping a very positive attitude towards yourself is very important, right? You will be the one deciding on what will be your mind frame. You will be the one deciding on either your attitude should be negative or it should be positive. You will be the one creating an R factor. If you see, you can see the attitude is basically your event plus your response and the outcome. The outcome is attitude. So the R factor is totally dependent upon you. Okay. Now, I'll ask you a very simple question. You must be observing a lot of these very consistently successful people, right? There is a very unique and very common, both at the same time, characteristic of all the successful people around you, right? Now, I want all of you to answer me those or that one particular successful characteristic of these people. Can you all answer for me for that? Answer me the thing. Attitude, manner, disposition, feeling. No, just one. I need just one answer for this. There is a very unique and very discipline, okay, could be the one. And you can see across all of these successful people, can you tell me what is that particular one thing? Do we want, okay, individuality and self-confidence, all right? Okay, the very common and the very unique, trait of consistently successful people is their positive and proactive attitude towards their work or towards their life, towards their events, everything. See, these people are not at all, their R factor or their minds are not at all cluttered with negativity, with pessimism, with cynicism. They are very much clear towards their goals. They have a laser focus on their, attitude, as everybody is saying. And the result of the entire R factor, the positive R factor, the proactive R factor, is they are always focused towards solution or solving a problem. They are always focused towards getting better. They are always focused toward getting themselves or growing themselves every day. And that's the unique attitude I would say we all would want to implement, or we all want to adapt in case we want to success, right? Okay, I would start with a story. Okay, before I start with the second story, I would want to start with the first story. And there's a question involved with this story. So there was this a man, and he used to sell balloons everywhere. Like maybe one day he went to the fair for the children, like children fair, one fine day, and he saw that his sales are really dropping. He was not getting any kids coming to him to buy balloons, and he had all colors of balloon, maybe red, blue, yellow, green, black, everything. Now he noticed that the sales are dropping. What he did, he filled up helium into that balloon and he released that balloon in the air. Okay. The balloon went up in the sky. All of the kids around in the fair saw that the balloon is floating, and all of them wanted to buy that balloon. Right? Now he got the trick. Every time when he saw that the sales are dropping, he used to just release one balloon in the sky, and all kids used to come to him to buy the balloons. So there was this very smart kid on the in the back, and he was seeing that this guy is just releasing these balloons of only red, blue, yellow or green colors, right? And he also had a balloon of black color too. So this very smart kid asked the question to the man that, what if you release this black colored balloon in the air? Will it float? Now you guys tell me, before I answer what man told to the kid, you tell me, will the balloon float in the sky? Will it go up in the air? So I guess they do not have the answer. The answer is yes, the balloon float. The balloon will float in the air. And it is not about the color of the balloon. That's what he answered. It is all about the helium in the balloon, correct? And that's exactly how it works with us. If you want to float up in the air, you will have to focus on what you have inside. Do you have the substance to go and float up in the air, or you do not have anything and just will be focusing on the colors of the balloon instead of the helium? So that's how it works with us. You'll have to engineer or create the wireframe of your mind as such that that helium in your mind start working and start floating up in the air. Now, I was going through this book called The Power of Attitude, and I really came across to a very interesting attitude or traits in people which really make them successful, right? So as I told you that I won't give you any gyans, it's a very casual session. I myself is keeping it very low. What I told you is I'll keep on learning through stories. So I have another story for you right now. So there is a very famous composer, and his name is Richard Wagner. Okay, Richard Wagner. Many people say that Richard Wagner is a gifted or a natural artist, or he is born talent and everything. But let me tell you very, very clearly, or let me tell you very honestly, Richard Wagner was not at all a born talent. Okay, he has the natural talent of the music was zero. He had he knew nothing about the music when he was really young. But the major or the important thing I would say at that time for him was that at the age of 15, he decided itself that, I will be a great composer when I'll be old or in the future. This was the most important thing at that time. Now, Richard Wagner started working upon it. He started going to the library, he started reading lots of books on the music. He started, creating the music of the greatest time back then, and, learn all the chords. And even after he did a lot of work. He wanted to be great. He wanted to become a great composer in the future. But even after being so, confident, and even after being so consistent on his hard work, the starting or the beginning for him was not really great. It was a tough beginning for him. At the age of 17, when he got the first chance to perform in front of live audience, the performance was so horrible that Richard Wagner, out of embarrassment, left the stage, left the auditorium, and ran away. Now, a guy who was like from the age of 15 knew that, wanted to become a great composer, wanted to do music, wanted to do wonders in life, and got to know that, he's doing really bad music in front of the live audience. People are mocking him. People are not really taking his work seriously. They're not liking it. They're making fun of it. He was bogged down. He was like totally discouraged. But of course, he left out of the auditorium, but he never gave up. Okay. He went back. He started working on the entire process. He started reworking on the music which he created, and he realized that it was too soon for him to compose his own music right now. In the process, he ignored the basics of the music, and for next 5 to 6 years, again he started working on the music. Okay, he created the greatest, recreated the greatest music of the time till the time it came out exact the same. And when he got the second chance, okay, interesting fact was when he was into his practice session, he saw that his neighbor is creating a lot of noise. There was this drilling going on in his wall, and he was really disturbed. What Wagner did, that out of that drilling noise, he created the music. Now, and when he got the second chance to perform in front of audience at the age of 17, if I'm not wrong, that particular music which he created out of the noise was one of the masterpieces in his one of the famous operas. So that's the magic when you replace your failure with your mistakes. You replace and you start reworking. That particular attitude is called reworking attitude. So let me give you a very simple example. There are two students. Both of the two students are working or solving their maths problems, and the same problem. Once both of the students fail at the same time. Okay, one student give up. Okay, nahi ho raha mujhse. I have enough of it. I can't do it. The problem is really tough. Wherein the other student, who also failed at the same time with him, he went back, started reworking on the problem, recognized the problem, what went wrong, and apparently he became a mathematical genius. Wherein the student who did not work, who just gave up, was just another student who just gave up on maths. So this is where the difference of attitude takes place, right? The problem with a lowered or a dimmed down attitude is the negativity which comes out of a word failure. Okay, our minds are wired that way, wherein failure is a very strong word which pushes you towards quitting anything. Wherein if you just replace the failure with mistake, start reworking on it, you'll actually a next genius like the other student. Okay, so you'll have to if I talk about mistake, psychologically speaking, our brains are, as I told, are wired in a way wherein we know that subconsciously mistakes can be corrected, mistakes can be rectified, and then can be worked upon, and we can actually achieve success that way. Okay, so that's how it is important. We will have to start. So this is a lesson number 1. We'll have to start replacing our failures. We don't have to bog down because of the failures. We'll have to take the failures as the mistakes, start reworking on all of these mistakes, and achieve the success which we desire. All right. So I guess, hope everyone with me. Are we good to go? Are we replacing our failures with a mistake and we'll start working on it? Guys, everyone is up. There's this very famous psychologist. Her name is Anne Weber. Weber once told that choice is uncomfortable because it makes us feel responsible. This is one of my favorite topic. When I was reading this book, this is something which really attracted me once. So, guys, you know what? As a human being, we are very much afraid of taking up any decisions. We are afraid of taking up or making any choices. Do you know why? Have you ever thought, when you're asked to make any decision or any choice, we do not get into it, we do not make choices. Do you know why? Do you all want to answer me why we are not really comfortable in making up decisions? Have you ever thought about it? Come on, it's a very interesting topic. Tell me why we are not really happy or really comfortable making mistakes. Taking decisions. Think about it, people. Perfect. Good. I want to hear all of these answers. What are these? Interesting. People are saying if something went wrong with our decision, then all blame will come up on us. Okay. If it goes wrong, we blame ourselves. That's the worst thing to do. But yes, people think that way. If something went wrong with that decision, then blame will be on us. We fear that if we choose negative choice, then we will be held responsible in future. Not okay. So most of the students are saying it correct. We are afraid of taking up any decision or making any choice because we are afraid of the responsibility which come up with that decision. Okay. Now, interestingly, there are two parts of or a disadvantage and an advantage of making choice or making decision. One, okay, you tell me, what are the advantages and disadvantages of making choice and making a decision? Because all of you are right. We mostly are afraid of taking choices, making decisions because we are not ready to take up the responsibility of it. But can you tell me the advantages and disadvantages of both of not taking any decision? It's very very simple, very obvious, but we end up not focusing on that part of our life. We don't really think. We just So I'll tell you a disadvantage and a disadvantage of not taking up a decision. Advantage is very simple. Okay, there is no responsibility. Nobody will ask you questions. Nobody will, you'll be free. Life will be simple. No question asked. No, nothing, no responsibility. Life will be simple, correct? Now, if you don't take a decision, the disadvantage will be that you'll lose the control. You will lose the control over people. You will lose the control over situation. You'll lose the control over yourself. And the moment you lose the control yourself over the people, over the situation, over everything, others will start taking that decision for you. All right. Very simple example. If you are in a bus, you can't stop for probably a burger at High Street. If the bus is going to Pune station, undoubtedly you'll have to go to Pune station. You can't give a stop at High Street and enjoy your time. That's how, if you give the the steering to others, you will not anymore be the control or be the driver of your own life. That's why it is important to take decisions. It is important to take good decisions, right? And if we move forward, very interesting thing, the writer has told us about the type of indecisive people. Okay? So there are many more types of indecisive people, but the most prominent or most these people are the people who are unable to make decisions. Okay, so first of all, are perfectionists. These people are generally afraid of making mistakes. That's why they just either delay or they do not take the decisions at all. They don't want to make any mistake. They want to be perfect. Therefore, they just are indecisive. For example, I would say we end up calling Amir Khan as a perfectionist, and you see, he actually do not have a lot of movies. And this is my personal observation. He work on the masterpieces. He just work on the perfect scripts. He just work on the perfect scenarios. That's it, right? So he is afraid of making mistakes, and that's how he's called a perfectionist. And probably end of the day, he is, indecisive. He can't decide on the random scripts. So that's one example. I can see a few charts which is saying advantage is this: if you take any decision in your life event, if you loses at the end, okay, yeah, life can be more beautiful. Yes, correct. That's what I just said. If you have the control of your life, the life will be very, very beautiful for yourself and for others too. Okay, moving back to non-compromisers. Non-compromisers are the people who make decision only if they see that they are not paying any price of that particular decision. They are not at a risk if they make that particular decision, and that's how they do. If they see there is a problem, or if they see there is a risk in taking that decision, making that choice, they will not at all take that decision, or they'll not be able to take that decision. All right. So that's the second type of indecisive people. Then come the freedom lovers. I personally feel these sort of people are, and the author has very correctly put it up that these sort of people are indecisive. The problem with freedom lovers is they always want to keep a choice with them. Okay, they have multiple choices, and they always want to keep their options open in their life. They don't want to end up or commit to something, to one thing or in their life. They want to keep the options open. So anytime when they feel that this is not working for them, they can always choose the other one. So this is also a sense of indecisiveness, I would say, wherein all of your options are open and you're not sticking to something really important for you. And the last are dependents. Now, dependents, I would say, or I feel these are the indecisive people who are dependent upon others for their decisions. And most of the indecisive peoples are dependents. Okay, they are dependent for their maybe day-to-day decisions on others. Like for their day-to-day dependency is very high. And I can see, or I am sure you must have also seen that the number of these people are much, much higher than any of the indecisive people. There are so many people who are dependent and they are just not ready to take any decision. They are not able to take that decision. Okay. So that's how, these are the indecisive people which have been, people have been researched upon. Now, that was the second lesson which we learned, right? And so first, I want you guys to note it down somewhere, maybe in the chat box. What was your first lesson, guys? Can you all write it for me? Your first and second lesson, or first and second attributes of attitude you want to implement. What was the first one? Come on, tell me fast. I have a few more stories to tell you. I'm not gonna tell you the next few stories until and unless I see the chat box active. Okay. Take decisions was not the first one. I want to know the first one. Take decisions was the second, always positive. First one was to replace your mistakes, or to replace your failures with your mistakes. Okay. Second was take decisions. You'll have to take decisions for yourself. And the third is pull yourself up. Now, for this one, I again have a very interesting story of a very famous basketball player, and his name is Adam Matthews. Okay. Now, a few people who must be over here are into basketball or sports must know him. Adam Matthews is a very, very famous and very decorated, I would say, player. When Adam Matthews was 17 years old, He was so good and he was graduating his high school and he was so good that he started getting offers of professional football leagues, to join those leagues. Now, Adam Matthews was very young and he was getting these really jazzy offers, really interesting and enticing offers. But at the same time, Adam Matthews was very smart also. Okay, he knew what he wants. He knew what he wants to get in his life. He knew what he should be, probably in the future. He knew everything. So, as he was getting a lot of offers from so many leagues, he got two very interesting offers at the same time. First was from the Brooklyn Dodgers. Okay, Brooklyn Dodgers were giving or paying the Matthews $60,000 to join their league. Okay. Now, Brooklyn Dodgers was very famous league at that time, and many legends were playing with that team. So they were ready to pay $60,000 to join the team to Adams, and it was a very interesting offer for them. There was comparatively another, comparatively smaller league which wanted Adams to join their team was Boston Braves. Now, Boston Braves were giving only $4,000 to Adams to join the team. अब दोनों चीजों का अपना अपना advantages हैं, disadvantages हैं. If we talk about Brooklyn Dodgers, a very jazzy, very famous, very glamorous team. They have so many legendary players playing with them. They are offering much more money, much more exposure to Adams to play across famous teams or play against the famous teams, play with known players, right? So much benefits, so many benefits, so much of good things with the Brooklyn Dodgers if he joins. Now, second was the Boston Braves. This team was comparatively smaller. They do not have much budget for fancy grounds, much budget for fancy jerseys. If Dodger would have to join that team, Matthews would have to join that team, he'll have to work extra for that. Okay, so before I tell you what team he joined, you guys tell me if you get an opportunity, two opportunities at the same time, wherein one platform is really big, you are getting more money, you are getting more exposure, you're getting more money on no experience. Second is a comparatively smaller platform wherein you're getting a lot of knowledge, you're getting a lot of experience, but comparatively the benefits and perks and the money are smaller. What will be your decision? What will you join? Tell me. Will you join Brooklyn Dodgers or will you join Boston Braves? Come on, guys, tell me. I know you guys are all smart. I can shine more in the other teams who is paying $4,000. Okay. Interesting. First one was Brooklyn Dodgers is $60,000. Okay. Nice. Bigger platform. Okay. In which the money is good. Interesting. Guys, I want to know the answers. I can see a few people very active and they are doing very well and giving me very smart answers here. I want people, to answer me this. Which team will you join? The team which is giving you much more exposure, or the team is giving you, much more knowledge? Okay. See, I was expecting the answer, the second one, but I can see a lot of people over here said that they'll be joining the first team. See, guys, you'll have to understand this thing. First team, which is the Brooklyn Dodgers, paying you $60,000 at a very, very lower experience, with no expertise, with no experience with no improved game, nothing else, right? It's just the money and the benefits. You will be, you'll not be doing, I'm sorry to say, but, you'll not be doing that great in the future if you join the first team. Because they are giving you just the fancy money, but the knowledge which you will be requiring to grow in the future, that's something you'll lack. So Adam Matthews actually selected the second team, he was so great at that game. Then too itself, then too he joined the second team. He took the lesser money. He decided on slogging. He decided on growing himself. He decided to improve his game at the smaller platforms. All right. He decided to, work on himself instead of just running after money. And that's how it should be. Researchers actually researched on this, and they also say that the decision which was made by Matthews was 100% correct, because if he work hard on himself, he'll end up at the better places in the future. He'll get much more exposure. He'll get much more opportunities, and that's how it works with us also. If you don't get knowledge, if you don't have the level of expertise which is required in the market right now, if you do not slog at the initial stages, you are not going to go anywhere in the future, and you mark my word for that. So guys, I would say, work on yourself instead of running behind the money. Just don't forget that famous dialogue from Three Idiots. बताओ क्या dialogue है वो? I'm sure all of you might know the dialogue. What was it, guys? Success के पीछे मत भागो, knowledge के पीछे भागो, right? It was something like that, correct? Guys, tell me the dialogue, yaar, come on. I'm not even asking you tough questions. Exactly. As a very interesting comment and the very to the point comment came is that काबिल बनो, सफलता आपके पीछे भागेगी, and that's the fact, and that's what my father also says. Okay, you'll have to become you have to become expert, you have to work hard on yourself to achieve the success you are desiring. So this was your third lesson, fourth lesson, guys. And I said, as I just said, Matthews actually decided to join the second team, and he cracked a mantra, and this was his mantra, that play hard every day, be humble, and do whatever it takes to win, right? See, he wanted to win. He chose the second team, which was giving him comparatively very less money, and that's what his decision was. Now he is doing wonders. He is one of the renowned basketball players in America. Okay, so guys, this is again, we keep on talking about self-belief and consciousness and everything, self-confidence. But most of the people, I would say, fail to, achieve it. So I would say again, I have another story over here for this, particular self-belief thing. So there were two Canadian journalists. Okay, these journalists, the story is of back in 80s, and these journalists named Chris Hemme and Scott Abbott. These people were like normal people doing day-to-day activities, doing their journalist stuff. But one fine day they realized that in about 50 years, there is no new board game which is invented. Okay. Now we generally do not think about such things, right? That it was very odd to think about a board game that no board game has been invented in last 50 years. And they started working on that particular idea of it, right? And they thought, okay, let's work on it. They worked for 5 to 6 months on that particular idea, and they invented a board game. Okay. Now, this board game was really interesting, but unfortunately, they sold only 40 board games after the launch in Canada. And if we talk about across America, they just sold 144 games only. Okay. Now, if we see the narrow perspective of it, if we see as a normal person, we'll see that the game was success. The game was a failure. Okay. Because it just the very less sales of it, and it's just a bad idea. You just have to maybe stop working on it. Just don't waste your time. But for both of them, the game was already a success because they believed into it. They knew that this is the idea, and this is going to be probably a big hit in the market. What they did, but what could be the reason why the games were not selling off? I mean, what was the reason? Can you guys tell me what was the reason why the game was not selling off in the market? Even if it was commendable, it was, very good. Okay, I'll tell you why the game was not selling off. They figured out, they did a lot of research, and they figured out that the marketing of that particular game was not being done really well. Okay, so that's the reason the game is not selling off. Simple. So when they realized that the marketing is not going well, they went to big agencies, they went to huge, these celebrities, did the marketing really well, planned the strategy, everything was done well. And, after everything was taken care of in the terms of marketing, they sold around $20 million of games in the span of probably a year and a half. So see, the lesson over here is that you should. So if you want to decide something, if you want to do something, you'll have to do it with a conviction. It should be in your mind that the game, or for him, the game was already a success. Okay, if we speak psychologically about it, when you start feeding your brain, the self-belief per se, your brain start acting it, or your brain start taking it as a truth. For your brain, it is already a truth. All you have to do is start working on it. Okay, start working hard on yourself to get the outcome, because for your brain it is already done. Because you're wiring your brain in that manner wherein it is already taking the fact or your self-belief as a truth. Your brain has no other option to do that. All right. So this is why self-belief is really, really important. If you do not believe in yourself, nobody else is gonna believe on you. Okay. And there was this research wherein the researchers said that self-belief is one of the most attractive trait to have in you. So abhi next time, say if you want to impress anybody, just keep a faith, just believe in yourself, and that's one of the most attractive trait you will ever have. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you believe in yourself. Because a lot of times, I'm sure you guys are management students, or, aspiring to be future managers, aspiring to be future leaders. I'm sure it would have happened with all of you. It happened with me also, wherein you got a very good idea, a brilliant idea. Yeah, I'm getting a thumbs up. Amazing, guys. Okay, so I was on the ideas. You got a good idea, and you just dumped the idea because you thought if the idea is so great, anyone must have been doing it somewhere in the world. Correct? It happens with you. एक बहुत अच्छा आइडिया आता है and immediately you think कि अरे यार बहुत अच्छा आइडिया है, but शायद कोई already कर रहा है इस आइडिया को कहीं पे. Somebody is pursuing that idea. You won't believe you have missed thousands of opportunity that way. Because it was a very small instance of lack of self-belief, but it happens. Just because you thought somebody else is doing it, you just lost. You are, probably a step back. So that's what happened with, most of us. We do not believe in ourselves. From today itself, guys, I know it's a very good weekend. You guys, all of you want to, chill around, but take this as a, a master stroke, I would say. Self-belief is something really, really important in your attitude, in your personality. Again, if you do not believe in yourself, nobody else is going to believe on you. So I'm getting a lot of thumbs ups, but yes, start building up on that. It's all about your attitude, okay? So there's this small kid running behind a rhinoceros. Is just a matter of attitude, guys. Nothing else. Okay. So, do you guys know who's Jessica Long? This is our next story. Okay. Anybody knows who's Jessica Long? She's very famous. Come on, guys, tell me. Do you know who's Jessica Long? Please tell me. I can see yes, so many yes. Who's Jessica Long, guys? No. Okay, I'll tell you in a while. Anybody else? Who's Jessica Long? Okay. Jessica Long is a very famous Paralympic swimmer. Exactly. She's a Paralympic American Paralympic swimmer. She is a very decorated Paralympic Olympian, and she won so many medals. She participated in many of the swimming competitions, and I would say she's a wonder herself. Okay, so when Jessica was born with a disability, like from birth. Like it was her, I would say, her birth defect. I mean, I really don't want to call it a defect, but yes, it was something she was born with. Now, Jessica had to go through 25 surgeries in her lifetime to get the thing done, and to get the abnormality or whatever, not really great word to use, but to get it fixed. And unfortunately, she had to lose both of her legs. Okay, during those surgeries, she lost her legs, both of her legs, and now she she can't do anything on her own, and that was a problem in her life. But Jessica was again wired very, very differently. Jessica never thought of it as a disability, and she wanted to become a swimmer. At the very young age, she decided that I want to become a swimmer, and she started swimming. Now, whenever she used to go to any pool or any swimming pool, she used to just float, and people around her used to look her as disabled, or probably used to pity on her. There were so many people who used to make fun of her, mock her. So that was a problem. But Jessica never took it so seriously. She never took all of these, critics in the life. We all have very much, able critics in your life. So does Jessica had. And she never took those criticism or that criticism very seriously in her life. And she kept on working for that. She used to swim every day. She used to do practice. And even if it was very difficult for her, she continued doing that. And one fine day, she excelled the art. She was, one of the top Paralympic swimmers. She won more than 4 gold medals, and till that time, when the story was told, till that time she won 4 medals and probably participated in 24 other competitions, and she was winning those competitions. She was killing it. Okay, but Jessica had a bigger dream in her life. Jessica wanted to compete in the normal swimming competitions, in the normal swimming Olympics. She wanted to get into Olympics for the normal swimming competitions. Now all of us right now must be thinking, how it is even possible. She do not have both of her legs. She have artificial legs. How can she do swimming? Like, how can she swim right now with this problem of her? But again, Jessica was, she was very adamant. I would say she was very firm on her decision that she wanted to do it, and she started working on it. Now, there is this very famous coach in America who is again a swimming coach, and he actually coached Michael Phelps, who is, very, very decorated Olympian again. He won probably, I don't know if I'm not wrong, more than 40 gold medals in swimming. And Michael was getting trained under Bob Bowman, who again, was Jessica's swimming coach. Now, when Bob used to train other normal swimmers, and he used to, push them up, come on, go strong, go hard, keep swimming, all motivated stuff. At the same time, he used to feel pity on Jessica because, there's a problem. Because Jessica was not really, I would say, apt for the normal swimming. wherein she was doing wonders in the Paralympic swimming. All right. Again, one fine day, Bob came to Jessica, and Bob told her, "See, I know I don't want to bog you down, but the aim, which is, the aim which you are, aiming right now, the goal you are aiming right now is very, very difficult and, to achieve, and it's probably near to impossible. Why are you, even thinking of it?" But Jessica at the same time used to think herself as a mermaid. Okay, she thought she's a mermaid. A lot of people called her aqua woman. But at the same time, unfortunately, the words which Jessica told at that time were these: "The only disability in my life is a negative attitude." I really believe that, especially with not having my legs. Okay. So I'm not saying, that unfortunately she couldn't make it to the, normal Olympics, but her attitude was something that was not really, was something that was commendable. And that's when this picture come into the picture, that, it's all about your attitude. No matter what are your problems, no matter, it doesn't matter what are you lagging off, you will have to focus on your availabilities instead of focusing on your scarcities. Okay, so that's a problem with, most of us. Whenever we fall into a situation, whenever we see that we are not achieving, whenever see that we are not going ahead with anything, we start cribbing about our scarcities. Okay, we don't see what are the blessings, we don't see what are the availabilities. Okay, so that's the problem. We'll have to start looking at the availabilities. You'll have to ignore the scarcities and start working on yourself. So this was your which lesson? Fourth lesson, right? Guys, tell me, what are the other 4-5 lessons you learned today? Can you all type it for me in the chat box? I'm waiting. What are these 3-4 lessons you learned today, everyone? If you tell me, I'll have a very good video to show you all in the end. If you tell me what are the lessons you learned today, I have a really, really good video to show. If you guys don't tell me, I'm not going to show you that video. Trust me, and it's a wonderful video. Come on, tell me, what are these 3 to 4 things or 5 things you learned today? Okay, first, correct attitudes, things doesn't matter. Okay, choice, yeah, start making decisions, replace failure with mistakes. Good. Self-belief, wonderful, pull yourself up, take your decisions. Very good, very good. What else apart from these 4 topics? Did you get anything? Did you learn anything? Developing a decisive attitude. Okay, tell me, which was your favorite story from all of these 4 or 5 stories I told you? Which was your favorite story? Who was your favorite, 4th one? Which one? Whom did you like the most? Jessica Long or the footballer guy? Which was your favorite story? Or both of the journalists who created amazing board game when they believed in themselves? Okay. So, basketball guy. Okay. See, basketball guy really worked hard on himself. He decided to choose a team which was not really beneficial for him in the first place, and then, did wonders in the future. Good. I am really impressed that the lot over here is really, I would like to congratulate to the institute. The people over here, the students which are getting are really, really smart, and they are getting they are taking the first step very correct. Okay, so we just spoke about the attitude, a lot of things about attitude. We learned 3 to 4 or 4 to 5 things about the attitudes which we wanted to build in ourselves. But human being is a creature of discipline or habits. Okay, and until and unless we do not create a discipline or a habit, we are not going to achieve whatever we want to. Mark my words. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you 10 simple, very very simple 10 disciplines to improve your attitude. I know changing your attitudes towards anything will be a very gradual and very, long term process, but we can definitely work on it, right? So, first one is it's just 10 things. I would probably want to take the screenshot of these 2 slides and keep it with you, maybe paste it on your cupboard and read it every day. Okay. So that you are very much conscious in your brain. Our brain is an enormous masterpiece God has created, I would say. It's I feel it's one of the most amazing performance resource for us. The way we feed to our brain, it starts working in that way. So just take the screenshots, take the printouts, and maybe paste it on your cupboard. Read it every day. Okay. So first one is be self-aware of your attitude. Again, it's a very, very difficult process to be self-aware all the time. But the moment you start behaving, the moment you start taking up the R factor, which we discussed right now, be aware of it. Be aware of your thoughts. Be aware what are you feeding to your brain. Are you feeding it a negative food? Are you feeding it a positive food? What are you giving to your brain? What is your thinking pattern? And I would also suggest the moment you see that your brain is creating or you are creating a pattern in your life, break it. Okay? Negative patterns are never good for you, are never good for your success. Break that pattern. Stop it right away. If you see that you're thinking about it negatively, thinking about something negatively very continuously, you'll have to stop thinking about it. See, okay, I know it's a difficult thing to do. It's a very common example I'll give, to resolve this problem. All of you, just close your eyes for 5 minutes. Not 5 minutes, just close your eyes for like 3 seconds, 10 seconds. Do it. I'm hoping all of you are closing your eyes. Now, just don't think about a yellow elephant. Don't think about a yellow elephant, okay? And now tell me what all you were thinking. Are you guys, were you guys thinking about a red elephant? What did you see when you closed your eyes? What was it? A black elephant, a normal elephant, or a zebra printed elephant? What did you see? Okay. See, that's how it works. A yellow fat elephant. That's how it works, guys. You have to focus on the positive part instead of, feeding or saying that, I don't want to think negative. Instead of just think that you will be thinking only positive things. The words you use, the vocab you feed to your brain, it has to be positive. Positive words make immense difference, okay? It makes a huge difference in the way you think. You'll have to replace your words correctly. Okay, be self-aware what sort of words, what sort of thinking, or what sort of thoughts you are getting right now. Okay, so be aware of everything. Start it from today itself. Start thinking positive. This is taught in one of our previous seminars. Amazing, good, lovely. Second is refocus, reframe, and respond when your attitude becomes impulsive or negative. I just covered this point, okay? You'll have to start rethinking, reframing. Whenever you start getting a negative attitude or impulsive attitude, start reframing it. Maybe start building those blocks again. Don't give up, a major focus on negativity. Just focus on positivity. Be aware of things that tend to trigger a destructive attitude in you. And anticipate, plan ahead. A very important thing ahead, you'll have to, when you start noticing or when you start thinking about your thoughts, when you start being self-aware, you will immediately get to know about your triggers. Okay, to quote a very common example, आप लोग बहुत सारे लोग I'm sure सबके breakup हुए रहेंगे यहाँ पे. A lot of people must have gone through bad breakups in their lives, I'm sure. ठीक है। तो क्या होता है जब आपका ब्रेकअप खत्म हो जाता है, आपको ब्रेकअप चल रहा होता है, आपको बहुत सारे लोग बोलते हैं व्हाई डोंट यू जस्ट थ्रो अवे द थिंग्स बिलोंग टू हर और हिम, यू नो, दैट इज सॉर्ट ऑफ योर ट्रिगर्स, ओके, correct? You just want to throw away the things, you just don't want to get back to those pictures, you want to probably just cut down yourself from all of these things. Those things are your triggers, okay, so you know it well. Now if you want to bounce back, you don't have to go back to old things, old memories to, you know, heal yourself. It is as good as maybe scratching the old wounds. So that's how it works, okay? Don't you get aware, be aware of your triggers, don't go to those triggers again. And if you want to overcome those triggers, you'll have to fight very, very confidently, you have to fight very, very strongly, and you know, you'll probably one day will overcome those triggers also. So that's how it works, okay? Plan ahead, start writing down things, start using your brain to anticipate things. All right, just don't go in the flow कि ठीक है अभी ये हो गया ऐसे कर लेंगे. No, write down things, be proactive. As I mentioned that you'll have to be, if you want to be successful, you'll have to be proactive. You have to be probably, you have to think 3 steps ahead of whatever is happening right now. Think about the bigger picture. We talk about the 4th thing, manage your internal stories and scripts. Okay, positive self-talk is something which will help you in the long run also, always, okay? So I was reading through a quote yesterday, and it says that whenever you're sick, don't call yourself or don't say that I'm sick, just say that I'm healing, okay? So your stories, your internal stories, even if it is about your future, you don't have to think that, okay, I'll end up in a miserable place, or what if the things goes wrong, I'll end up doing this, I'll end up earning lesser money. You don't have to do those internal stories or scripts in a negative tone. Why can't you just think about being positive all the time? Why can't you just feed positive stories or scripts to your brain so that you become easy? Okay, you have to understand this thing very clearly, that if you want to feel good about yourself, you'll have to start thinking good about yourself. You just can't think something negative and then expect to feel good about anything for that matter. All right, so feed positivity to your brain, and that's a mantra. You can't really feed negativity and then you expect positivity out of your brain. You can't do that. When there is a problem, acknowledge it. Okay, we have just spoken all the goody things, but life is nothing without the problems, okay? We all face a lot of problems day-to-day life. There's nobody on this earth who face nothing. We all have problems. We all have to, acknowledge it. We'll all have to start working on your problems, correct? You just can't start cribbing about your problems and just let it go and then expect, people would come and help you. No, you'll have to help yourself. You'll have to acknowledge problems. You'll have to understand what went wrong, as we discussed, what are your triggers and everything. Acknowledge the problem, resolve it, think about it. I would say think about it. Don't just jump into the conclusions. Don't just jump into the solution mode. If you face a problem, think about the problem, okay? Settle down and then start probably planning, and then start exploring the solution of the problem. The story or the drill starts with the acknowledgement. So if you have a problem, face it very strongly, acknowledge it, and then fight it, okay? Other is, okay, now the 6th thing here is ruthlessly eliminate BCD from your life. We all do this, including me. I won't, deny on the fact that we all blame, we all complain, and at some point of time, we all become defensive in our lives, okay? See, the fact is, if you are true, if you are working hard, if you know your game, if you have that enough knowledge, if you know how to work upon yourself, the same day you'll stop, blaming, complaining, and being defensive. I know we all have these traits right now with us, but it's better to eliminate all of these, three blames or three traits to success, to get the success. We start blaming. The moment something goes wrong, we start pushing the blames from one place to another. अरे उसने ऐसे नहीं किया तो मेरे साथ ऐसे हुआ. अरे उसका, it generally happens in the corporate setup wherein, something goes wrong. For say in my team, if something goes wrong, if some campaign is not going live, the moment we start asking questions, the boss start asking questions, कि क्यों नहीं गया campaign live? And we start with our blame game. Okay, we did not get the creatives on time. We did not get the numbers on time. Why the sales is low? The quality is low. So at that time, we start complaining, we start blaming, and we become defensive. And that's the worst thing to have. The other thing is turn off the TV. Okay, this is something really. I would say I included this from my personal experience. I'll tell you, I'm a big time Netflix, punk. I do a lot of binge watching because I'm going through this problem. I can't turn off my TV for a long time. I would want you all to, I am working on it. I am keeping myself, reading a lot of stuff. I'm keeping myself away from that TV, away from Netflix, away from, all other OTTs. I wanted you guys to start it right away because I'm sure you guys are at home, must be binge watching everything. And so, I thought, why not just, bring up the problem on the table? Why can't we just call the elephant in the room? So that's the problem. Start putting the TV, away from your schedule for some time. Give yourself a quality time. Start reading about things. Maybe start reading the articles, or there are so many other things. If you have a hobby, pursue that hobby instead of just binge watching anything on the TV. So I'm working on myself, particularly for this point. I hope you guys will also start doing or working on yourself too. Other is start every day with a time of reflection and preparation. Every day in the morning when you get up, you should know a proper itinerary, I would say, in your head that, okay, around 8:30, I'll reach my work. I'll start with these emails. I'll start with these, briefings. I'll start with these numbers. At 1, I'll have my lunch. So there should be a rough idea in your brain. If you can't, do it, the best part will be to write it down in your daily diary. You should know, you should prepare yourself for the day ahead. You should feed, again, positivity to your head, but you should know what you'll be doing in your entire day. That's very important because without any plan, you can't reach the goal. You can't reach the destination. You'll keep, I don't know, you'll be like a bee. So it's better to keep a plan and, reflect, do things what you have decided. Now, the most important thing is be patient. I know, as I told you, it's a very long process. It's a very gradual process. It will take time because, now I'm sure you guys must be 20, 22 years of age or mostly. And, something you're doing it for, 20, 23 years. To change that thing, it will take time. Now, just think about it. You have been, doing something for 22 years. Now, all of a sudden, if you ask to change that thing, you won't get the result, okay? You can't get the result, or you can't expect the result in a jiffy, all right? You'll have to be patient about yourself. You'll have to be, considerate about yourself. You don't have to be so harsh on yourself that if the things or if the plans are not working as per your strat plan, you don't have to be very tough on yourself. Be cool about it. Forgive yourself as you would have forgiven somebody else if somebody had made a mistake, okay? So you have to forgive yourself most of the time if you're not, able to walk through your plans, okay? And last thing is keep things in perspective. When I say keep things in perspective, have a bigger picture in your mind, okay? Just say, at the age of 15, never knew that he wanted to become a musician. He wanted to become a composer. He had things in mind. Why can't we have it? Why can't you think about future? Why can't you have a perspective about whatever you're doing right now? You'll have to keep that perspective in your head. Whatever you're doing right now, it has to be a rock solid foundation. Okay, things can't be just in the air. If you want to build your castles, your foundations have to be very, very strong. Okay, so keep a perspective, be strong with your roots, and start hunting. I would say, go ahead. It's your jungle. Start hunting. Okay, so I'll tell you one more thing. Can you tell me why a lion is a king of the jungle? Can you guys tell me? Lion is my favorite animal. You guys tell me why a lion is the king of the jungle. Have you ever thought of it? Lion is not the most powerful animal in the jungle. He is not the biggest. He's not the most cunning or or the smartest animal in the kingdom. Then why? Why a lion is the jungle of the king? Correct. It's his attitude. Lion is the king because of his attitude. He is, very, if you see, most of the time we see people who are really dynamic, who, the aura is powerful. We see that he walks like a lion, and that's what with the lion. It's his attitude which makes him different from all of the other animals in the jungle. Okay, so I would say become a lion, start hunting, start working on yourself, and that's how we'll start. I know the presentation has been done, the session has been done, but I would say it's not the end, it's the starting. I have given you a lot of tips. I hope you would all want to inculcate all of these tips in your daily day-to-day routine. And Dr. Anup can help us out with the video. I promise I'll have a wonderful video for all of you. So, let's go ahead. Let's see what video do we have.
A true hunter is wired differently. He's wired differently. Listen to me. What makes a gazelle is how he's wired. What makes a lion is how he's wired. Okay, let me explain to you. When a lion sees a gazelle and the gazelle sees the lion, both beasts see each other at the exact same time. When the gazelle sees the lion, because of how he's wired, he automatically, fear takes over. When the lion sees the gazelle, he lights up. It's your time. The hunt is on. This is what I was made for. And if you ever studied a lion, if an animal is wounded, the lion won't even do what? Won't attack. The lion will only attack if it's if it's healthy. The lion's like, let him go. There's no fun in that. He's already dead. Right? For real, there's some of you, there are opportunities that you're like, it's too difficult. It's too hard. Nobody can do it. You're not wired properly. The lion welcomes the challenge. As a matter of fact, they don't get excited unless it is a challenge. They're wired differently. When a gazelle immediately sees a lion, the first thing it thinks about is, let's go. First thing the lion does is like, let's eat. Oh, I'm wired differently. I didn't start crying. I didn't say, why me? I'm doing good to the world. I'm not hurting anybody. Why me? I'm wired differently. We turn tragedy into triumph. That's what lions do. Lions don't cry. Lions don't give up. Lions don't quit. Lions hunt. And if you are a true lion, it does not make a difference what the circumstance is. So what? We're in a recession. We made more money in a recession than we've ever made before. As a matter of fact, it was the recession that birthed us.
You can decide that you're going to change, that you're going to stand up to life. You can decide that I'm going to live each day as if it were my last. And all of these things that are happening to me right now, they're just temporary inconveniences. They're not stronger than I am. I'm in charge here.
Pick what you want and get laser focused. Begin to eliminate all the distractions. You are not hungry enough. You are not starving enough, and you are not focused enough. What are the things that are stealing your focus? Who are the people that are stealing your focus? And begin to eliminate these distractions. Get laser focused and obsessed on what you want. Be starving and hungry to get it. Be desperate to get it. The combination of desperation and hunger with laser focus over an extended period of time is the formula to be great at something.
If you are facing a challenge, don't stop. Stay busy. Work your plan. Continue to do those things that you know that work for you after you have evaluated yourself in the situation.
That dream that you have, that money that you want, if you're going to make it happen, you're going to have to be wired differently.
How all of you, did you like it? How was it? I guess it sums up everything, like 3 minutes of 1 hour, I would say. So there is very one important thing, this guy mentioned in the video. It says that if you want to achieve something, hunger and desperation, the combination of hunger and desperation along with the laser focus is the key to get anything you want, is the key to be the great or the greatest at something. Okay, and that's the line which stuck with me forever. Just think about it. Hunger and obsession is something, along with the great amount of hard work, can get you anything in your life. We'll have to start working from today itself, guys. And I guess I'm open for the questions. You can ask me any sort of questions. I decided very purposely that I won't speak about any management strategies or any management related stuff or digital marketing related stuff, but you can ask me questions on anything. I would be happy to help. I would be happy to answer all of your questions. So shoot. Do films of creating change, belief, attitude, or behavior of a person? You answer me this for yourself. Which was the Three Idiots. Did that movie change your perspective about so many things in your life? It did, right? You got to know so many things. Even if you did not change, but it made that impact on you, right? You probably would have started thinking differently about something. So yeah, I feel books and films actually make a difference in the way we start thinking about anything. I mean, I still remember. So one fine day, I'll give you a very personal example. One fine day, I have a younger sister, okay? So she was here watching a movie called Surma with me. And she's generally, she's very young and she's generally up and above anything in the spirits. But that day she was crying after watching that movie. She was literally weeping. Why? Because it made that impact on her. She is young and she was, she's capable of understanding those sort of feelings. But yes, that movie made her cry. The sort of dedication, the sort of hard work was shown in that movie. Something was impacting her in a way. So yes, movies, yes. And I would say both of these things make a major difference. There is this book called 42 Power Tricks. If I'm not wrong, it's 42 habits which successful people follow. It's not 42, but yeah, that book made difference in me. I know 42 tricks to handle situation. Books do make difference, but it happened only for short period of the time. See that now again, it depends upon your attitude. Okay, if something, if it is very short term, which means you need booster doses again and again, you'll have to keep working on yourself again and again. If you're feeling bogged down, probably start listening to motivational music, start reading a book, or maybe watch a good movie. I think that's how it works. Some point of the time, you start feeling low and you'll have to probably start working or reworking on yourself. So it's okay. Even if it is a short-term impact, it's okay. It's making an impact. That's important, right? I'm sure Rang De Basanti had a good long-term impact on a lot of people. Tell me if I'm wrong. I mean, I still like that movie. Most of us still like that movie. And even if you watch that movie even now, you feel, I don't know, maybe you own something to a country, you feel like that. Correct? So yeah. What are a few more questions? Swadesh. Yes, of course. There are so many movies like these. And there are so many movies, they're talking about social and civil agendas also. So movies do make an impact, yeah. For sure. I mean, yes, they do. Okay, I'll give you a chance. Do you have any question related to digital marketing? Let's talk business. Tell me. Guys, come on. I know it's Saturday. You might want to have a good lunch, but we are running out of time. I guess we do not have any more questions coming in, do we? Tell us about your work ex. Okay, so if I talk about my work ex, I have been into digital marketing right from scratch. When I started with Firstcry, I started with digital marketing itself, and right from there itself, I started building upon so many skill sets. I started working upon so many things, and gradually I got into e-business growth, and now I'm taking care for e-business growth, especially for supplements and supplement market for our company. So yes, the ride has been a proper roller coaster ride, but I would say the market is now booming. We are, India is one of the booming market for digital spaces, I'm sure. We are still into a very nascent stage when it comes to digital, and we would want to, move ahead, I would say. And I would also like to suggest, if you want to, start adding up all of these digital related activities, especially analytics and other parts into the curriculums. I mean, that's really important as of now. So my work ex has been, all around, actually totally around digital only. Ma'am, can you tell us about the courses which are good for digital marketing? Okay, what I'll tell you, I have never done any course in my life for digital marketing, so I personally cannot tell you that which course is really good for you. But if you want to start on something, start reading the blogs which are available on data analytics, because that's the scratch. That's how you start. Second, about your search engine marketing, and it's not just limited to your Google. There are so many other search engines like Bing, and international search engines are also available. You might want to start reading about how the strategies are built up upon these search engine marketing tools, and those strategies can be implemented into anywhere, like any search engine you want, be it Google, be it Bing, anywhere. Okay, so that's the one thing. The other one is you'll have to keep up to date yourself when it comes to all of the trends which are going on. Okay, I'll tell you one thing. When it comes to digital marketing is actually it's a vast term. It's not a really small term wherein you just say कि ठीक है मैंने social media कर लिया तो हो गया, search engine कर लिया तो हो गया. No, when you go into industry, you'll get to know that people are specially expertised into each of these verticals. There are PPC expertise, there are social media expertise, there are search engine marketing expertise, there are data analytics, so there are so many things which comes under this umbrella, which is called digital marketing. So I would say slowly and gradually start reading about it, start analyzing each field of the area, and I'm sure you'll click. I'm sure you'll get to know, it'll click to you that which is the most interesting thing for you, which if numbers attracts you more, you probably want to go ahead and start reading about data analytics. That's something you might do. As I told you, digital marketing actually works into two different ways. Like there are two major different ways in which digital marketing works. First is your branding, and second is your performance marketing. It is as good as marketing and sales into a general perspective. Okay, when it comes to branding, it is pure marketing. Nobody is going to ask you what is the revenue, what amount of money you have, what are your ROIs, what are your conversion rates. Nobody is going to ask you that. But when it comes to performance marketing, people will judge you on the basis of your performance or the sales you're getting for the company. So it is, it is actually as good as I just said, as good as your marketing and sales into your general, situation, general environment. So yes, to answer your question, you have to start reading everything. I don't think I can suggest you over the courses. I mean, I have never done any course in digital marketing. I just learned, I have hands-on experience, I just learned.
I think Rajnandini has answered ample amount of questions and really given an insightful session today. And definitely our students will gain a lot from this today. And we are all hoping to look forward to many more sessions from you, Rajnandini.
Sure.
And a lot of futuristic things to learn, and how to self-help and be resilient and rise again and again. That is what we have learned. That is the kind of attitude which we should have, and we should try to nurture in ourselves. That is what I can try and sum it up. Thanks a ton, Rajnandini, for this session and your time. And all the efforts which you have put in. Thank you very much. Students, you are all requested to fill the feedback form. I'm just going to put the feedback form right away on the chat box. This is the feedback form. So please click on this and fill the feedback form and send it to all of us. That is very important. Thank you, Rajnandini. Thanks a ton.
Thank you, and really a lot of thanks to the institute to give me this opportunity to talk to these young and fresh minds. And I would always love to help anybody out. Anything required. I mean, I'm open to.
Definitely, when our session starts, we will definitely have a session wherein students can confront with you and talk about a lot of things. We are looking forward for a physical session also at Institute.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks.
Thank you, students.